Thank you. Thank you for being here as a part of the city of Atlanta. At least you're at the table and willing to do something, but you have to have a wise business strategy with return on your investment. That's why you push back and essentially ignored the situation till now. Thank you, Charlotte, for your leadership and continuing to work and hope against hope in a situation that didn't give you much encouragement. We're running out of time, and we need a significant business solution that brings the following, and I have some questions in my statement which will be brief. We need an entity, a business, an organization of oversight that will make sure that this is at least not a loss leader, and at best profitable in what we're doing from a financial perspective. We need to actually look at programming content and an expert like yourself, sir, who can make sure that the quality of the education of the programming for these great producers gives them something in return for the investment of their trying to learn the business, and also can garner viewership. Also, we need to have revenue generation from underwriting and corporate citizenship sponsorship in the city of Atlanta, which brings us back to programming, because certain corporate citizens would not want to underwrite or sponsor content that's offensive to their brand. All of these things require that we come together, and we're running out of time. So my questions are proposals still open? Will this committee legitimately look at business proposals that will not only say, we need this much money, but this is what we're going to use the money for, and this is how we'll make money and give you a return on your investment, even revenue that goes back to pay you back, where perhaps it's a loan instead of money into a pit that never gives you anything in return. Secondly, House Bill 1746, if it is passed sometime in the future, does it have any retroactive benefits? Meaning, can it come back, bring some funds, help out, resurrect some of those that are dead? It seems not from the shape of your head. No. And then, how much money exactly is needed to save People TV? What's the number? I heard it go from 800,000 to 100,000 in the past year. What do we need? Because this doesn't need to be Morris Brown, 10 years, trying to raise $10 million that never comes when 100 million passes by. We need to get a specific number, we need to get it in the next 40 days, and we need to get a return on investment.
Okay, so I just gave you the budget. So they operated at over $400,000 for the last year, which obviously was, excuse me.
For last year? The year?
I'm sorry, this year, 2010.
This year we operated on a budget of $200,000.
Okay, so your books have 400 for 2010.
Yeah, well, for 2011. So for 2011, we're operating under a budget of $200,000.
Okay, so based on your proposal, we're going to get to the meat of this. This is the most current. These are your financials, so this is the most current set that we have.
That's the annual report.
Right. Okay. So based on the proposal, and I just took a glance at it. It asks for $125,000 prior to March the 1st. And is that what would be needed to keep People TV up and running?
The reality is we do not have a location. We notified the city before July 1st that we had to give up our lease. We do not have a location to operate People TV. That lease was provided, that information was given to the city probably in May. We gave official notification with the city's 2011-2012 budget. So we do not have a location.
Okay, so we need a revised proposal, because I'm just looking at the numbers that are here, and it says 125 by March the 1st, and then an additional 425 out of the 2012-2013 budget. So if we're going to, and I'm asking because everyone is asking that we look at this proposal, if we're going to look at this one, then we need something that is revised and that we can, you know,
well, I believe that's the strategic plan you're looking at, and I don't know which one that is that you have.
It is. It's the 2012 strategic plan.
But again, there's been work been done on that in the past month, and I still don't know which one you're looking from. But it sounds like that is correct, and we did want a total of $425,000 that would be for capital and operations, because the reality also is that our equipment is not operating, and we have to have money to be able to purchase equipment.
Okay. So we can't address a full comprehensive wish list. What we're doing now, and this is the phrase that I've coined, because we're in an emergency state, because as you all have said, we have 18 days. And so what is necessary to move forward and at least get us through another 90-day or 120-day plan, because we're getting ready to enter into the city's budget cycle for 2013, I think. Is that right? Yeah, we're getting ready to enter into that. And so there are possibilities that money could be shifted, but we've got to have a plan during the interim. I think I had Reverend Stalmacher, and then I'll come back to you, Brother Muhammad, and then I'll come back.
Thank you for this opportunity. I want to ask, is there a representative from the cable company of Adelphia? Is there a representative from Charter Communications? Is there a representative here from Comcast Cable? Is there a representative from Communicom Services? Is there a representative here from MediaCom? Is there a representative here from Warner Cable? Time Warner Cable? Is there a representative from US Cable? The reason I ask this question, because of the crunch that we're in, these are people that's making the money. This is where the money is at. Why aren't they sitting here at the table? It don't have to be the entire burden of the city. It should be the burden of them. If they're going to eat and feed their families off the backs of us that pay these fees, why aren't they here at the table? And I think that we should have the city of Atlanta, along with Mrs. Ingle, along with those persons who can, I guess, put together an emergency plan to tell them that they need to come to the table. And producers. The purpose of, and when Mayor Jackson started off this whole cable business in the city of Atlanta, it was said in his writings that he was determined not to let no company come in here and make money off of the backs of the people and not give nothing back to the people. And I think that that dream needs to stay alive. And I think that if they're going to come and take our fees, our franchise fees, whatever you want to call it, and they can't put nothing back into the pot, then we need to kick them out. Right. So I'm asking the question, is there any representatives of those companies that I named? Let me see.
No, but we're here to be able to take that back right now. We were looking at the operational needs and the finances to move forward. It doesn't mean that they won't be at the table, but right now, today, they're not. We were dealing with the stakeholders that can make the decisions with the operational aspect, and we accept or we receive that comment, and we will do our due diligence moving forward. But we are in communications with them. Yes, ma'am, in the back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have a podium if you'd like to come to the podium. Brother Muhammad, you'll be next.
Yes. I would say the finances that you're talking about needs to come from those cable companies that he's talking about. And they should be here. I also would like to quote, my sister has written a book about public access, and she's pretty well known internationally, but Dee Dee Halleck. And in her book she says, the cable contracts are granting what is essentially a monopoly to a communications corporation to enable them to reach a particular market. Therefore, this benefit needs to be compensated by a public component. The second reason is that in order to construct the physical infrastructure, hanging the wire, sharing the telephone poles, having access to city sewer and tunnels, a cable company needs the cooperation and right-of-way from the municipality involved. Beyond these two legal justifications, there's a third philosophical argument that citizens have an essential right to information exchange. The assumption here is that if the First Amendment protects free speech in an age of face-to-face argument and print media, these rights are automatically extended into more complicated forms of technology as they are developed. So television is one of them, but there is also an argument that the distribution of most cable programming is via the extensive satellite systems which were developed with a heavy investment of public funds and therefore mandates a payback in the form of public benefits. As technology develops with greater emphasis on direct broadcast satellites, delivery by telephone companies and wireless cable systems, the last two arguments become more pertinent. All of these new technologies, cable television, telco-delivered video info services, and satellite television, owe their research and development to the enormous public expenditures of U.S. space and military programs. A few corporations have become very wealthy by using that research as a basis for their business. Anyway, it goes on and on, but I just think somebody needs to say that.
Thank you.
The only places or the only sources that we're able to get franchise fees are cable companies and telecoms that actually enter our right-of-way. We actually don't get any franchise fees from the satellite companies, the DirecTVs, etc., because the Communications Act basically allows us to demand peg channel space based upon a company coming into the city's rights-of-way. And the quid pro quo is that we get to demand franchise fees because they come in to our rights-of-way. But because satellite TV companies have made the argument, and also I think the way that they don't enter the right-of-way, we have not been able to get franchise fees from them.